Welcome to the place. Yes, it's been a while, maybe too long, since you've been able to type in to YouTube, the number 2 search engine in the world, type in atheist, sort by new, and see this guy in the thumbnail. It's been a while. I feel for the most part I'm done with that series. I accomplished really what I wanted to. I was able to make some connections with atheists, and where we were able to have conversations that were not reducing each other to what we disagree on, but instead what we can agree on. That's always what these, that's for me always what I wanted to get out of these videos. How can a Christian and an atheist have a conversation and not just simply imply that the other is wrong, ignorant, and immoral, but instead what can we actually agree on? But I did feel that this would be worth making a new video about, that we could talk about. And if it leads to other videos, that's cool. If not, then that's fine too. But if you happen to watch my other videos, you know that this week I started releasing some of my original music, and specifically bringing my wife in for some of those songs, and having a lot of fun with it. One of those songs is called "The Meaning of Life," and I want to go ahead and start by saying that the writing of that song, I was largely motivated by the videos I've been making for atheist viewers and all these videos, because, and I guess I'm thanking you. I feel that in all of these videos that I've made and all the exchanges that we've made, that ultimately you helped me realize something about my faith. And by the way, I'm being completely sincere with it right now. I feel that you have helped me realize where I'm at in my faith is that even if I'm wrong about Christianity, I still don't regret living my life this way. I still choose to have faith. I still choose to believe, me personally. And even if I was wrong in the end about it all, I wouldn't know I was wrong if consciousness just ceases to exist. That's one of the things I keep saying in our videos with each other. But ultimately, even if I could know now, I still want to be a Christian. I still want to live that version of life. I'm content with that. I don't feel my life would be any better even if Christianity wasn't real and I stopped having any kind of faith. I don't believe my life would get any better. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm at peace where I'm at. And when you're at peace, sure, I'm always open-minded to new things, but ultimately I'm at peace. And I choose to have faith. So let's look at the lyrics of this song, because what I'm saying is, in some ways you might think, well, that's weird if a Christian is saying that even if they were wrong, they would still believe in it, even if in the end they were wrong. That's weird that a Christian would say, I may be wrong. Because I don't think that you hear that a whole lot. A Christian who truly believes is also saying, I truly believe, / maybe in the end I'm wrong, but that's how much I'm willing to believe. So you have helped motivate me to write this song and come to a place of, for better or worse, that's my faith. If you were to ask me 20 years ago, do you know for a fact that Christianity is real? And I would say, oh, absolutely yes. If you ask me that now, here's my answer. In my mind, absolutely yes. I have seen so many times where I feel that God has answered my prayers, that God has provided, that God is providing. That's my reality. So do I believe that's all real? Absolutely yes. If you're asking me, could I be wrong about it in the end? I could be. I don't believe I am. But to be more aware of the fact I could be wrong, I don't think I was comfortable with that before. And now I'm comfortable with it. You have actually helped me get to that point. You've helped me become comfortable with the fact that maybe I am wrong. I don't think I am, but it's okay in the end, because ultimately, what am I to lose? Knowing that morally, the way that I live my life, I feel good about. As far as loving your neighbor as yourself, as far as forgiving other people, and as far as all of these things, not holding grudges, building other people up, sharing for other people, caring for other people, mentoring other people. These are things specifically as they relate to what Christianity teaches, all the moral codes that are set out in the Bible. And I'm not one of those people who is like, well, just believe in God and he'll forgive. I'm like, no, Jesus was very clear about sin, like premarital sex, murder, greed, gossip, all these things, all throughout the Bible. I'm embracing all that. And so that's what separates me from just a moralist. That's why, and for me, I know something else the Bible specifically says is for those who, if you love God, you will keep his commandments. If you love his law, you love God. And also if you love your neighbor as yourself. The thing is, I do love God's law. Now, granted, I'm obviously not perfect, and I'm always going to fail and I'm always going to struggle, but I actually still prefer what Christianity teaches as far as the guidelines for what is morally acceptable or not. So I can even appreciate that part of my faith, even the rules of it, those guidelines. But specifically, let's check out the lyrics to this song, The Meaning of Life, that you have helped inspire. The least amount of lyrics to any song I've ever written. So here it goes. It came without warning. I never asked to be born. And ultimately, I thought, well, it would be like, what if you just died all of a sudden? Oh, I didn't know I was going to die. Oh, I'm dead. Well, same thing with being born. We don't know we're going to be born. We have no control over it. But ultimately, the very first thing I say in the song, before I even start really playing the guitar, is it heaven or hell in the end? Or do we just fade to a black screen? That's a tribute to the atheist viewers there, who most atheists who have explained how they feel about it as individuals have said they believe consciousness ceases to exist just like before you were born. And so I put all that in one sentence. Is it heaven or hell in the end? Or do we just fade to a black screen? So, do you believe in some version of heaven or hell and that you're going to one of those? Or do you believe that's all made up and that consciousness ceases to exist? We're not held accountable beyond this lifetime for anything we've done. Where do you stand? Because you have to think about that at some point in your life. Like life, this whole thing about life, it's a mystery. So is death. It's a mystery. You still have to make a decision on what you perceive to be reality. Either your consciousness moves on or it doesn't, and so on. So the main part of the song says time is not on our side as we're deciding the meaning of life. I think that's a paradox. I think that's ironic. I think that's weird that we don't have proof of any of this. We have to choose to believe, or we have to choose to not believe, or we have to choose to not be a part of faith, or choose. And I know that we can get caught up in an argument of, oh, Nick, atheists don't choose to believe, they don't believe. Okay. Still though, at some point in your life, you have to say, that's not for me. Christianity, heaven, hell, accountability, sin nature, not for me. Okay, so you made a decision though. We have to make a decision on what we perceive as reality. And then the last part, and I think this really speaks volume to these conversations that I've been having in these videos. I choose faith and hope. But there's no way of knowing until it's too late. If I'm wrong, well, I know it. So there you go. There's all the lyrics to the entire song, and I really would like you to check out the song and be able to hear it. Just click on the link. And really what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for intelligent conversation. We're focusing on what we do agree on, not what we can't. I know there's going to be people who say, oh, your song's awful. It's the worst song I've ever heard. But in reality, part of why I wrote that song was to try to connect with people who do have different perceptions of reality. I wrote that song for Christians, yes. I wrote it for atheists. I wrote it for agnostics. I wrote it for Muslims. I wrote it for all religions. Because the whole point is, none of us can know for sure in the end if what we perceive is right. We can't until we're dead. And either consciousness continues and somebody's religion was right, or there is nothing and none of us get confirmation that the whole way we lived our lives was even right. So ultimately, in some ways, it comes down to how we do live our life and how that does shape us. And I think that's fascinating. I think it's fascinating that we can't know until it's too late. And yet we're forced to have make some kind of decision about this. And even a lack of a decision is a decision. So I think a lot of people, their decision is, well, Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a God, and hopefully I'm a good enough person that in the end, if there's a heaven and a hell, I'll end up in the good place. I think that's what a lot of people believe. That's not what Christianity teaches. That's more of just some kind of generic theist sort of mindset. Christianity is very specific, that we admit that we are born as sinners and that we believe in Christ, accept him for being the perfect sacrifice. That's a lot different than just, I think there's a God, hopefully I go to heaven. But I think by default, that's where a lot of people are. Even still, it's a passive decision that's being made. And I think that's fascinating, that we don't even know how long we're going to be alive. We don't know if what we believe about faith or don't believe or choose not to perceive, or however I need to say it. No confirmation until it's too late. A small amount of time in life to figure it out, and we don't even know how long that our life is going to be. That's why I wrote the song. So what I'm asking of you, you being the atheist, will you listen to the song if you haven't already, and just get back with me? What I would love to hear is you say, you know what, that was a pretty good attempt from a Christian to an atheist for us to actually connect. And that was actually very honest for you as a Christian to admit that you may be wrong. You choose your faith anyway. As an atheist, that's not my thing. But I can appreciate that you approach this from a somewhat neutral point of view, amazingly, that can at least have us have a conversation that's not a debate. Is anybody willing to do that? Can I get anybody to do that? Because what really, I don't want this to be some childish thing. Because YouTube has a culture where people are just constantly insulting each other and debating. And I think it'd be very easy for an atheist like that to just type in atheist, sort by new, find this video. Oh, he has a song, let me make fun of it and tell me how awful it is. I'm looking for intelligent atheists to have an actual conversation. Can we agree on this? And here's the whole thing I'm asking, can we agree on? Can we agree that it's fascinating? Can we agree that it's fascinating, that we can never know until it's too late? That's fascinating. Atheists cannot prove that God does not exist. Christians cannot prove that God does exist. And we won't know until it's too late. Fascinating to me. Your comments belong right here.